Hi everyone, I hope you are doing well. So today I actually wanted to make a little video for you on psychic abilities versus intuition. And really this video is going to help you to understand where these really come to us from and how this can be helpful to you on your spiritual journey if you are on the path of really reaching the 5D, reaching unity consciousness or higher. And if you haven't already, I would recommend that you watch my video, 3 Bodies, 1 Soul, really prior to watching this one. First, I actually want to talk about the astral body, which is really what you're going to enter as you move in from your third eye, going inward and upward. And really, the astral body, also known as your desire body or often referred to as your emotional body, is located at your 4th dimension. So your physical vessel, you are in the 3D dimension. When you enter your third eye, you're really going into that 4th dimension. And this has to do with where you actually get what we call your psychic abilities, such as, clairvoyance and clairaudience. Your astral body is actually very much like your physical body in that it still has a form. And anybody that you come across as you are astral projecting, astral traveling, is going to have a form. Now, the reason why I mention this is because in meditation, when you are on a spiritual journey, you're really trying to understand your true self, which is important to understand is really a drop of the ocean, as we mentioned, where you are beyond gender, beyond form. And so anything that really has a form, and as you experience this in meditation, it helps to remind you that that is not what you're trying to achieve, if that is what your spiritual goal is really about. But really, psychic abilities come to us from this 4th dimension. And this is important to really understand because when you open your third eye, and if you do not have the appropriate spiritual guidance, you can spend a very long time in the astral region. The astral body, it is helpful to know, is where you experience your dreams, hallucinations, any fantasies, imagination, out-of-body experiences, all comes to you from this 4th dimension. Now, if you are a twin flame specifically, you are on this Kundalini awakening journey, which eventually will take you higher than this region and realm. However, if you are not doing your own meditation, this can take a very long time, as you do not know when Kundalini will, rise up through your chakras and take you all the way to that 7th chakra. And so this is important to know for those that are doing meditation. You want to really, depending on your spiritual goal, want to pay close attention to these properties. That is how you'll be able to tell in terms of where you are on your inward journey. It is highly, highly recommended by spiritual teachers that you do not, attempt astral projection on your own or astral travel on your own, because this region really has various subplanes, varying from upper subplanes and lower subplanes, that really has angelic and demonic, entities that you could come across. And, this is also the region where you actually go after death. There is a lot of karma that you can resolve within these planes, but also this is where you kind of wait until you can get your next life form. And so this is really helpful to know if you are on your progression journey, that, you really want to avoid this sort of travel on your own. Now, depending on your spiritual goals, where you're really trying to reach in meditation and the purpose of what you're trying to do is going to vary. And the one thing you can really do to remind yourself, if you are really trying to reach the highest level, or at the very least 5D, which is the 5th dimension where you experience unity consciousness, is that there is always something bigger and greater. And that will help you kind of avoid the challenges that you come through, and also the distractions that may come along your path. And the reason why this is important is because, I always tell people your planes that you kind of visit have really been designed kind of like a house of candy, where, and of course, this is not to say that it's all positive. There are a lot of challenges along the way, but each plane has kind of been designed to be better than the previous one. And so, picture yourself walking through a house that's got different rooms of candy. With each room that you enter through, you would think, oh my God, this is it. I've reached my destination. This is amazing. This is where I want to be. It's got all the kinds of candy that I'd want. I don't think there's anything greater than this. And so what ends up happening is you kind of stay stuck there, not really having a desire to go any further because you are so satisfied with what you are experiencing there. And you think that that's the greatest experience that you could possibly have. So be inquisitive and really understand there's got to be something bigger and greater to avoid really spending too much time in one particular area or really getting stuck on your journey. And really be clear on your spiritual goal of what you are trying to achieve. Now, the causal body, which is a final and thin layer before you reach your true soul or pure consciousness, is really the next layer that you get to experience after the astral region. And here, this is where your deep and true intuition really comes from, because this is the location of your Akashic records, which is basically accounts of all your previous karmas and lifetimes. So you can understand that when you really tap into your causal body, you end up unlocking a lot of information. Now, causal consciousness is actually awakened through your progress in meditation and also through life's experiences. So as you go through challenges in life and you overcome them, you end up unlocking more and more of your soul's wisdom and really that causal consciousness, which really helps you advance forward in life. It's unfortunate, but very few souls on the earth or at this time really kind of use or access this information. The more you become aware in meditation and make that progress, this is really helpful to you in terms of really moving through life with that old data that is really helpful on your journey. Actually move towards the causal plane is when you actually lose that individual sense of self that you experience in the 3D. This is where you really get to understand that you are a drop of that greater and grander ocean, which is not your final destination, but really you get to experience that you are part of everything else and everything in life is truly connected. Now, once again, I would like to mention that you really want to get clear on what it is that you're actually trying to achieve in meditation. As I've mentioned, a lot of people become very satisfied with, some of the psychic abilities or other things that come with, reaching the astral region, that they might actually be distracted from a higher goal that they're trying to obtain. But it really does depend on your own individual choices and what you're desiring, which is going to help you. So I really hope this information is helpful to you in reaching your spiritual goals. Thank you so much for listening.